Good morning, students. In my previous lecture, we discussed about as a gardener's essay on superstitions. In this essay, the author talks about various kinds of superstitions and gives several examples like walking around the ladder and superstition of number 13. Today, we will discuss the author's views on superstitions and with some more examples. He talks about the superstition of number 13. The author says that if a person is admitted in the hospital and he is associated with the bed number 13, the patient may have some kind of psychological effect just because of number 13, because it is generally seen that people generally don't find bed number 13 in a hospital. So if the patient is put on the bed number 13, he may not get cured. It may happen that the person suffered even more because of the psychological burden rather than his disease. The author says that physical recovery depends as much on our mental state. So if bed number 13 creates doubt about the recovery of the patients, then this number should be scrapped from hospitals. The author gives an example of an army man who gets wounded in a battle. Okay? He was seriously injured, but gradually he was cured. But when he came to know about a small pimple on his nose, he was so much afraid of the fact that he died of the pimple. Actually, this is the bad or negative aura of number 13, which became the reason of his death. So the author says if a bed number 13 creates doubt about the recovery of the patients, then this number should be removed from hospitals. They should not have number 13 in their hospitals. Now the author talks about the ancient tradition, how people believed in superstitions. In the last pair of the essay, Gardiner says that even great men like Cicero and Caesar had faith in superstitions. Cicero was a learned philosopher, but he lost his life by trusting to the crows. In the old culture, if anyone sees crows, it was considered to be bad omen. Cicero was moving away from Antony and Caesar Augustus and put to sea and might have escaped. Okay? He was running, he was escaping from them, but when he saw crows hovering over his head, he took the circumstance to be unfavorable to his action. He returned back and was assassinated and was murdered. The author gives another example of Cato, who was to be elected in the House of Commons, and that time thunder was heard. After that, the meeting was adjourned. In earlier time, it was a superstition that if the thunder is to be heard, it was not considered good. So he got the whole election postponed and he was not elected. So in the concluding lines of the essay, the author wants to say that these are some superstitions which can be the cause of some panic for people. In the concluding lines of the essay, Gardiner says that we are fortunate enough that we are born in the modern age of science. We are free from the old superstitions or superstitious beliefs about nature. A man who enjoys a life free of superstition will be happier than the man who believes in superstition. Now, we don't believe in animals' divine power. We don't postpone our important programs and activities on account of some omens. A free mind is a powerful mind and one that will not allow itself to be hindered by superstition. A free mind is a powerful mind and one that will not allow itself to be hindered, to be stopped by superstition. These are the views of the author which are shared in this essay.